Guys, it has officially been 1 year since I walked away from my 9-to-5 job. And it's honestly crazy. It is a very cool feeling. Like, it's just crazy. It's been a year. It doesn't seem like it. And just a good feeling, that I've had success. What success is to me in this year of, being self-employed. So in this video, guys, just gonna be kind of laid back video. It's probably gonna be pretty long. Just gonna tell you about the journey. Gonna be talking about a lot of different things, why I quit, what self-employment is like, pros and cons, income goals. I'll have timestamps at the bottom of this video and in the description if you want to skip around to certain parts. All right, first let's take it back and talk about why I quit my 9-to-5 job. So honestly, I quit my 9-to-5 for a lot of reasons. This was something that I've been working towards for years. If you've been on the channel, you've seen I've been side hustling for a while. Me and my wife started our photography business. So this is something that was a goal of mine and I've been striving towards. Just being online and watching other content, seeing a lot of people, not having to work a 9-to-5 and just kind of planting that seed in my mind, like, I wonder if I could do that. So, that along with, me setting that goal, and for other reasons as well, like my job wasn't a bad job. I worked security. I think I was at that job for about 9 years, but I was just burnt out, man. And I dealt with a lot of BS at my job. The work environment was toxic. I just felt like I didn't want to be there anymore, right? And it got to a point where it was pretty bad, where I was bringing work home and venting a lot to my wife about it. And it even got to the point where she told me to stop talking about it. Like, she was like, if you feel like that, she was like, you need to make a move and do something different. So it kind of got to that point. And I think it was, I can't remember exactly, I think it was 2 weeks before I actually quit, like told, my boss and stuff, I was planning on quitting. I had worked out all my numbers with my wife. Like, I just had this strong feeling about it, like, those previous 2 weeks. Like, I was thinking about it a lot. I ran the numbers with my wife. We sat down one night. I showed her how much I was making from all my side hustles. Because while I was working a 9-to-5, I was always, if it wasn't my photography business, I had other side hustles as well, because I had a goal and I was working towards that. And I wanted to really put myself in a good position financially before I quit. Like, I wasn't just gonna randomly quit, right? So yeah, I worked out the numbers and I was like, man, like, I knew how much money I was making, but then again, like, I didn't. Like, just putting it on paper, I'm like, dude, I can do this. And it wasn't like I had just started making that amount of money. Like, I was making this consistently every single month. Like, I was making triple, sometimes more than that, than what I was making at my 9-to-5. So for me, that was a big sign, and I had been doing it consistently. So, after talking about that with my wife, writing it down, her supporting me and telling me to go for it, like, I feel like her saying that was like the last thing that just kind of I needed to push me over that edge, because I was already thinking about it. All right, looks like we only got one person at the gym, so that's great. But let's get to my next point. So I'm looking at my notes right here. I got down my talking points. So what were the first months like post quitting? So the first couple of months were crazy. It's a very weird feeling. Like, it's honestly hard for me to explain. I just remember feeling very weird, like, because I worked 12-hour shifts. So I worked longer shifts, and to just quit and have like that whole day and get all that time back, I felt very weird. It's like I didn't even know what to do with myself. Like, I had work and stuff, but still it was just like in between all those things, I didn't know what to do. And in those first couple of months, I think I pushed too hard. Like, I was creating so much content. So I'm a content creator, but I do freelance work as well, because I was like super motivated, right? It's like when you quit, or at least for me, it's like I was on this high. I was like super motivated, those first couple of months. So I was just pumping out content. And I had to like take a step back and realize, I'm like, dude, you're self-employed. You plan on being self-employed for the rest of your life. it's like, dude, you have to pace yourself. So I really had to pace myself when it came to some of the work that I was doing, you know, because the route that I was kind of taking those first couple of months, I feel like it just wouldn't, it wouldn't be sustainable. I think in those first couple of months as well, you're going to struggle with your schedule. At least that's what I struggle with, and just kind of creating a routine and just kind of seeing how you're going to navigate the day. And it's better now, but it's still something a year later that I'm still figuring out my routine, you know, what to do on certain days. And I think that's real important if you're self-employed. Like, you you need structure, you need a routine. And if you don't have that, I think you're gonna feel lost, you're gonna feel overly stressed, and it's just not a good feeling. So, you know, those first couple of months, give yourself some grace and get some rest as well, but start to just kind of think about what your daily routine is going to look like, and on certain days kind of just already planning like what you're going to be, you know, the different tasks that you're going to be tackling on those days. I'm going to take a sip of this pre-workout. So if y'all see me get like more hype towards the end of the video, this is why. All right, y'all, so next let's talk about money, the good stuff. So we're going to talk about income and milestones. So I guess first we'll get into income. I know a lot of you watching this video are probably going to be new people, so I could just tell y'all what I do to make income. So I do a lot of different things. So like I said, I'm a content creator and I also do freelance work as well. So my income streams are the Amazon influencer program, and I have videos talking about all this stuff on my channel. So just look around on my channel, you can find more information about this stuff. So I do that. I do Amazon Associates, which is affiliate marketing, and I mainly do that leveraging YouTube. So I have multiple YouTube channels where I'm driving traffic to my affiliate links, and that's a way that I make money. And I also do services, like I said, freelance work. So I do different kind of services. I do YouTube services, so I have clients that I work with monthly. They pay me monthly. So with those clients, I do a mixture of channel management. I also do YouTube coaching for beginner creators or just creators who need help on their journey. I also do UGC content, so that stands for user generated content. This is where I'm creating videos for brands and businesses. So with this, I was just leveraging my experience with video creation, content creation, that mainly came from YouTube, which I started back in 2016. So these UGC videos usually revolve around me talking about a product or showing how to use it. I guess you could say that's what I specialize in, because with my other channel, it's mainly a product review channel. So people find my content in, you know, these brands and businesses, and they reach out and they want me to do the same thing for their products. And I also make money from brand deals and sponsorships. So I've had I think one or two on this channel, but with my other channel, I do that a lot more and get more deals over there. So I think that's all my income streams. It's a good amount of stuff. Other than that, I mean, me and my wife still do photography sometimes, so we'll take on certain jobs. We don't run it like a whole business anymore, or we're not spending so much time on it. But we do get some clients that still reach out, and we see opportunities sometimes. So I make money from that. It's every now and then, but it's still an income stream. Consistency. And when it comes to like consistency of like the amount that I'm getting paid, I mean, it's, you know, being self-employed, it's gonna be up and down, but I haven't had any issues with that to where a certain month I'm kind of like saying like, oh my God, you know, I'm not making enough. I would say it's been pretty consistent. Like, I have a good idea of how much I'm gonna make each month, but it does still fluctuate. You know, it's just the nature of what I do with being online. But I haven't been like stressing about money. I think when I first quit, I wouldn't say stressing, but it would be in the back of my mind, like, oh my God, what if you have a low month, or what is next month gonna look like? Those thoughts, I don't really have those thoughts as much anymore. You know, I think it's because I've been doing it for a year now. I'm more confident in what I do. I'm very confident in the skills that I have and in different areas that I can tap into if I need to. So I think that's why I don't really worry about money too much anymore. And I think my savings plays a big role in that. I prioritize my savings That's a real big deal to me. It's something that has transformed my finances. It hasn't always been like that. So just kind of having that cushion and different buckets that I could tap into if things get ugly or low, it just kind of gives me that peace of mind, you know? All right, so let's talk about milestones and goals. So with goals, something that I had kind of set out for myself is I didn't want to start being like super restrictive with my lifestyle or have to cut back on a lot of stuff. Like that was something that I thought about going into this. It's like I wanted to still have the same lifestyle, and I thought that I could do that. I think if I had thoughts that I would have to be super restrictive and watching every penny that I spend, I don't think I would have quit my job. So I kind of had that confidence going into it, but doing it for a year now, you know, our lifestyle is still the same. And I'm not saying we have a crazy lifestyle. It's me, my wife, and my son. I mean, we're very simple people. We enjoy simple things and just the little things in life. But, you know, I guess I'm referring to just like the basic things, like just being able to provide, you know, food, you know, for me, even just provide experiences for my family. Like me and my wife just took a trip a couple weeks ago. So, you know, just things like that, still being able to do little things like that and just enjoy life and not having to, you know, cut those things out. All right, so let's talk about milestones now. So I was looking at my income report in my business banking stuff the other day, and I noticed something, right? I was like, wow, I've made more being self-employed in half a year than I made at a year of being at my 9-to-5 job. And to me, that was like mind-blowing. That was crazy. I told my wife, I was like, this is insane. So I've been able to greatly increase my income. So that's one of the biggest things I've noticed with being self-employed is just being able to increase my income. And a big part of that is having more time to put into my business. So, you know, it has naturally just increased my income. So yeah, that was like so crazy for me to see that. I don't know, I was just like, wow. So like, this is something that I talk about, is like the potential that you have when you work for yourself. And I'm noticing this now. Like I didn't know this before I quit my job. Like you have so much potential to, you know, obviously live a better better life and have more freedom, but potential to greatly increase your money, which can enhance your life, and you could do things, you know, that you probably always wanted to do. All right, guys, moving on. This pre-workout is hidden now. I don't know if y'all can tell. I definitely feel it. So what I love about being self-employed, so obviously I love the time freedom and just the freedom to do whatever I want. Like it's a crazy feeling knowing that I don't have to wake up. Like I don't even really wake up to an alarm anymore, unless I have something specific that I have to do, or it's something, you know, for my wife or my son, or maybe I have like a job that I have to do early in the morning, or like a call. If it's nothing like that, I don't set an alarm, guys. Like it's honestly crazy. And then just the freedom to do whatever I want. Like I can structure my day exactly how I want it to be. So for me, a big part of my life is fitness. Like y'all see me talking about that. And I really structure a big part of my day around my fitness. Meaning usually when I get up, unless I have work I have to do and get it done early, I usually go to the gym first, right? And then I'll come home and work. You know, I spend time, I'm always cooking. You know, I got to get in my meals and different things like that. I'm usually walking. So as far as like work, I just kind of work in pockets, right? And I have the freedom to do that. Like I can work for the most part whenever I want. So I really just focus on the things that I really, really like to do and that are a big deal to me, like fitness, you know, eating good. So cooking my meals, different things like that. And then after that, I just kind of work in, you know, all the client work I have and creating the content and different things like that. So I usually don't even work like throughout the whole day. I work in pockets. So it may be like I work for like an hour, I take a break, I'll work again, or sometimes at the most I'll probably work for like 2 or 3 hours straight, take a break, and then you know, eat my meals, go for a walk, spend time with my son, spend time with my wife, and then at night maybe I'll start working again for like 2 or 3 hours. So yeah, I mean, I could talk about this part so much, but I would say that's the main thing that I enjoy, right? Other than that, I think it's being able to go to all these different events and not have to miss so much stuff. When I was working, guys, I missed so much, and I'm realizing that working for myself now, just because I'm able to structure everything, like my work, around these different things. So like going to dinners with my in-laws, spending time with my mom, spending time with my sister. I've been able to go to a lot of my son's games and different things like that. Like, it's so cool to not have to miss all those things, and be able to experience all these things. And I've been able to do that working for myself. All right, so let's dig into the hard parts of self-employment, because I feel like it's kind of glorified like as just this great thing, and it's so good and it's so amazing, which it is. Like, don't get it twisted, it is, but there's some negatives about it too. Like everything ain't just good, right? There's been things that I've struggled with, like things that certain people may not like. So I would say the first thing that I've noticed is hard is the isolation of it. Like, I'm not around people. So I'm always by myself, right? My wife, she works, you know, I spend time with her and she's home, but I'm at home by myself most of the time. My son, he doesn't live with me, right? So yeah, things can get a little lonely. And it's weird because I'm naturally a introvert. Like, I like to be by myself, but I've noticed since I've been self-employed, it's like, okay, I'm by myself too much. Even my wife has told me, like, at certain points, she was like, you need to get out and go to different places and just switch it up, right? Because she knows how I am. So yeah, I miss some of that interaction with people. I really do. Like, I had a couple of coworkers that I was really cool with, and I miss them, man. I miss just chopping it up with them, and at work we would have a good time to make work go by. So I miss those conversations, and you know, not having those people there to, you know, just have a good time to talk to. You know, it's just me by myself, you know. So it's just something to think about. Things can get a little lonely sometimes. Maybe a big part of that, I need to get out and get some friends. Like, I don't have any friends. You know, I think my wife has told me that as well. So maybe I just need to get out and make some friends, but I don't even know how to do that, to be honest. So, and another part I want to talk about as far as hard parts of this is income. Like I said earlier, I really haven't struggled with income, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to struggle with it in the future, or things are going to come up, because I've had things come up. I've talked about some of them in another video where I think the title of it is my struggles as a full-time entrepreneur. So some things that happened, I think I lost some clients or something like that. So, you know, I took a hit with my income. But the income part, it hasn't been hard for me. This may be different for other people, but I just still wanted to mention it. And I think it hasn't really been hard for me because I put in the work before I did this. I didn't just randomly quit. Like, I took the time to build things, to learn new skills, to understand sales, marketing, pricing, all these things before I went full time. So a big part of this, I think, is just, you know, just putting in the reps, right? Being confident in my abilities and skills. So yeah, and I think another thing worth mentioning is not necessarily super hard for me, but still want to talk about it, is being self-employed. You have to be disciplined, right? And I don't think this is for everyone, right? You have to be very self-motivated, self-disciplined. You have to be a go-getter. You have to be someone that you can work even when you don't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know me, I can't just always rely on motivation because I'm not always motivated, right? So it's just, that's when I have to tap into being disciplined and really just knowing my purpose and knowing the direction I want to go. When I'm focused on that, I'm just disciplined with it because I have direction, I have focus, I have a goal, and I'm gonna really zone in on that thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is, to do this, you have to be self-motivated and disciplined, because I don't have someone like a boss or a supervisor telling me what to do. I don't have someone telling me to wake up at a certain time. I have to wake up and know that I have to make things happen, right? And I don't know if everyone has that, or I don't know if everyone kind of thinks about that. Like, it looks cool on the outside, but when you're in it, you're waking up every day with just you. It's you versus you, and no one's pushing you. No one is telling you what to do. You just have to have that drive within you to get things done, you know? All right, moving on, guys. This video is probably gonna be an hour. Let's talk about lessons I've learned. Man, I've learned a lot of lessons, but I would say the first thing, man, is, you know, and my birthday was, when was my birthday? It was a couple days ago, so I'm 35. You know, life is short, man. Life is short. I've been self-employed for a year. Insane, right? I'm 35 years old. Like, I'm knocking on 40. Like, time flies by. So I just want people to know, man, go for what you want, like what you truly want, because life is short. Time is gonna go by anyway, so you may as well just go for what you truly want instead of living with that thought of what if, or I should have done that, or why didn't I do that a year ago? Like, I don't like thinking like that. I'd rather just go for it, and it doesn't work out or whatever. At least I could say I tried, right? So a big part of quitting my 9-to-5, that's what I was doing. I wasn't happy. I wanted to change my situation. I wanted more. I had a goal, and I just stopped sitting on it, right? It's like, why am I sitting on this? Like, what am I waiting for? Everything was in place. I honestly, another lesson I've learned, I should have quit sooner. That's what I've been telling myself, and not mad at myself, but kind of a little bit mad at myself. Like, being self-employed and thinking about that. It's like, I should have done this sooner. So it's like, I wasted, you know, some of that time just sitting on the idea or thinking about it or living in fear. You know what I'm saying? Another lesson I've learned, and honestly, this is just life lesson, not just to do with quitting my job, but mindset, man. Y'all know, if you know me and you've been following me for a while, you know I'm gonna talk about mindset, because mindset is everything. With the decision, the thought of even to quit my 9-to-5, with what I've been going through while I've been self-employed, it's all revolved around my mindset. Like, changing my mindset, if I didn't have changed my mindset, I would have never quit my 9-to-5. If I didn't have the mindset of that go-getter mindset, I want more, knowing that there's more out here, you know, looking at changing my perspective, I would have never quit my job. And then, you know, my mindset now with working for myself, like, just believing that I can do it. Right? Striving for greatness, continuing to show up even when I fail or I take a loss in, you know, any type of business loss or in terms of money. But my mindset is on point. I'm always thinking forward. I don't let these things get me down. That's the entrepreneur self-employment mindset. You know, these things aren't bad, they're just lessons. I learn from them, I take what I can from them, and then I see how I can improve next time or make a better decision next time. But mindset is everything, guys. If you want to change your life, not just quit your job, be an entrepreneur, none of that. If you want to completely change your life, work on your mindset. I just have a couple more points. This next point, advice for anyone who wants to quit. So I'm gonna try to break this down in a simple way, because I can talk too much about things. Reduce your debt. That's gonna make a big difference. That's why a lot of people can't quit their 9-to-5. They just have way too much debt. So when you're getting paid, I mean, most of your money is just going to your debt. So if you could free up some of your money by reducing that debt, it really opens up to the things you could do, and maybe even potentially quitting your job if you want to do that. Next, save money. And I'm really just telling y'all what I did. I would have never quit my job if I didn't have a good amount of money saved. I think that made that decision easier. And I just knew if something came up, something happened, we would be good. So I needed that to be able to quit. So if you're working towards quitting your job now, maybe you have a business or a side hustle, or even just your 9-to-5, I would tell you to prioritize saving most of that money. That's what I did. I did it for years, and I sacrificed and I cut back on things because I had a goal, right? And that's what it took. So I was just, a lot of the money that I was making, especially on the side, I would just save all that. I was just stacking that savings, because I knew I wanted to get to this point. So next, you need monetizable skills. I like to call this as well skill stacking. So while you're working, stack as many skills as you can. And it's even better if you can stack skills that are in high demand and you can charge a lot for these skills. So that's what I was doing while I was working up to this point, just skill stacking, learning different skills, graphic design, marketing, sales, photography, videography. These are all skills that I can monetize. And not just stuff online, there's stuff I could do offline as well, right? I can cut hair, I can do personal training. There's a lot of different skills that I can tap into. And last, I would say you need multiple streams of income. And I think my camera's about to go out again. It's the overheating sign, so I gotta be quick. And I've said different things about this because I've talked about multiple streams, but then on the other end, I've said it could be a bad thing because you're doing too many things. But I think, you know, being in this position and knowing what I know now, when you have multiple streams of income, it's less stressful. You know, if something happens, like I mentioned, I've had things happen, lose clients, different things like that. I know I have another stream I could tap into. I have another stream that's bringing me in money. And then I have streams of income that are more so passive, not 100% passive, but even if I don't work or I choose to not work as much that month, I'm still going to make some kind of money. Maybe it's not a lot, but I'm still going to be bringing in some kind of income. And then on top of that, I have the active income stream. So that's where I'm showing up and I'm getting paid. That could be coaching, you know, these different services. So it's a mixture of active income streams and then passive that kind of work in the background as well. So when you have a combination of those, I think it really helps a lot. And this last point I got on here, y'all, it says, what's next for me? This video is too long already, but I don't know, man. I'm in a good spot. You know, I'm just continuing to show up and to keep working. You know, I'm not trying to put too much on myself because that could be a toxic trait of mine, to just put too many goals and too much expectation on myself. I'm just gonna keep working, man. I'm enjoying life. I'm just gonna keep trying to improve and just keep building this thing, but in a sustainable way. And obviously there's things I need to improve. That's something else that I've noticed with my business. There's things that I need to work on. There's new areas that I probably need to tap into. So, you know, it's all a process and I'm just taking it day by day, but the plan is to work on those things. If you made it this far, thanks for listening, and feel free to follow my journey. This is something that I talk about a lot. And this is something that I plan on doing for a long time, you know, for the rest of my life. So, you know, just follow the journey and see how things go. And I'm gonna share the wins, of course, but I'm gonna share the losses, you know, when I need to pivot, you know, all the in between. But if you got value from this, like, subscribe. I'll see y'all in my next video.